All right, everybody, welcome back to 3 Generations Restoration. Today we got ourselves a little video on this Farmall M. This Farmall M serial number is 124325. Puts it about in the middle of the pack. I'll put the year up right now as to what this is. Today's goal is to get the coolant, this coolant plate, completely regasketed. We are going to regasket the carburetor, and then I got a seal for the PTO that we're going to be putting on as well. Once we get all that stuff done, I want to mess a little bit with the timing on the engine over by the distributor, and then I got a different front grille and a different hood that I would like to put on this thing as well. So if we could get all that done today, that would be a great goal. But first, we got to go ahead and drain the coolant, because we're going to be taking this coolant plate off. This is the main area where the coolant goes on the side of the block. And while we're here, I'm going to just go ahead and take the carburetor off, because that's coming off anyway. And it'll make our life a little bit easier cleaning all this up in here. So let's go ahead, let's get started. Let's get this coolant drained out. All right, so I got a makeshift make-a funnel, and I just got this, the coolant drain cracked free. So let's go ahead and, pretty rusty. Oh, there we go. Now we got some nice clean antifreeze coming out. We don't want too much of a mess what this helps with, so. All right, now that we got the coolant drained out, we can focus on getting the carburetor off. First step is gonna be disconnecting the gas line here. And someone just has a rubber hose to the carburetor right now. Oh. Okay, we're gonna probably end up just taking this whole fitting off. Yeah, it's gonna make life a lot easier. Oh, he took the whole filter out and everything. We'll set that aside. We'll get our choke rod out of the way. Pull this cotter pin out. Get the choke out of there. We're gonna disconnect our intake tube. Once we get this out of the way, it should be opened up a little bit more. Oh, there we go. We'll just pull this thing down and get a cutters. All right, we'll set that aside. We're gonna set the gas back here so it doesn't leak all over the floor. We're gonna go ahead and we are gonna get rid of, well, not get rid of, we're gonna loosen up this throttle shaft here. 2 screws. And I know some people just like to leave the other side loose, or sometimes even don't even mess with it. But we're going opposite here. We're gonna take the other end off as well. Not off, but we're gonna loosen it up so we're able to give it a good wiggle room. Okay, so we got that off. Now, our next step is going to actually be to completely remove these screws. All right, everybody, we got these two screws disconnected for the throttle shaft. We're gonna go ahead now and we're gonna get the carburetor removed from the tractor, and it's gonna be an open end. Get rid of both of these nuts here so we can get this carburetor off. These are very skinny 9/16 nuts. The other side I gotta do with an open end. But it's coming. All right, here we go. It's taking the whole bolt with it. Oh, no, it's not. It's taking this to nut. Good. That's what we want. All right, we'll slide the carburetor nice and easily down off of the studs. Pull it forward. We're off the throttle shaft. Carburetor's off. We're going to set that on a bench. We are going to completely re-gasket this today as well. Now, we're going to get rid of this governor shaft. Not really get rid of it, but disconnect it right here so it's able to swing, so it's not as rigid, so I can get the wire brush in here. So that's the next step. All right, we got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 bolts to take off. So let's get started. There we go. All right, all the bolts are out. Now, looks like we're gonna need to get a little screwdriver, a hammer, and pry this cover out. Go ahead and give it a little tap here. Looks like we're gonna lose a little bit of coolant here. I don't know why there's... Oh, looks like we're going to be losing a lot. Let's go get a tub. Should be good for what we're going to do. Surprised there's a lot of coolant still here. I mean, I drained out a good amount, I thought. There we go. Not the easiest thing to get off, I'll tell you that. There we go.
What fell on the floor?
Lock washer.
Oh.
All right, here's the cover. And the guy we got it from said he replaced this gasket, and I don't know, it maybe like 55 years ago it was replaced. So we're gonna go ahead and clean this up, clean up the block, and we're gonna go ahead and get our new gasket, put it on, and get this fixed up. I'm gonna go clean this stuff up and I'll meet you guys right back here. All right, so I do not have hot Permatex here for our gasket surface for the engine block, so I'm gonna have to run to the store today. But we can get this done at least right now. This is the PTO seal. You can tell it's been leaking. I got a bucket underneath it just in case we lose a little bit, which we probably will. We're gonna go ahead and unbolt this from the back. Sometimes you can get lucky and pull the seal out with a little seal puller, but I looked and can't find ours for some reason. So take these two bolts out. All right, now need a hammer. There it comes. Pop this thing off. I'm gonna lose a little bit, but whatever. Can always top it off.
Got
like
water in it. That's what came out first.
All right, there we go. We'll put this on the bench and pop this seal out. All right, a little bit of a dirty bench over there, but regardless, we're gonna try to get this seal out. So I got it in the vise, little chisel, and the seal should pop right out of here. There it is. The seal is out.
Is there a double seal or something?
Yeah, it looks like it. Double seal. All right, so we're gonna go ahead now and tighten this housing back up to the tractor. Our gasket is still in place and it looked good, not torn. That's not where the thing usually leaks anyway. It leaks at the seal. I had to take it out because this definitely wouldn't have come apart with a frickin' seal puller. Alright, we're gonna clamp that down there. Just like that. Now the PTO seal is an updated type of seal. And it's a lot skinnier than what usually you see on these. Here it is. Here's the part number. So we're gonna go ahead and install this seal nice and easily over this shaft. And then we're gonna take I think we're gonna have to get like a pipe real quick. PTO though, this will work probably. Yeah, here we go. Got a little pipe fitting here. We're gonna drive this seal in flush now. All right, there it is. Seal has been installed. What I'm gonna do now is clean this up a little bit. And toward the end of the video, what we'll do is we'll fill this back up with some gear oil. But for now, I'm gonna set all this stuff aside and I'm gonna clean this off with ether and double check. All right, that turned out pretty good. Now I saw on some of the forums online that if this still leaks, all I have to do then is drive that one in another length of a seal, or width of a seal, I'm sorry, and put another one on. That just gives it like a backup seal almost. But this is the updated seal for what I drove out of this housing, and it looks like it's working right now because there's still oil up to here and it was coming out of the bearing cage. So that's all done. And here's just another, there's the part number. We got this from Allstate Ag Parts, just so you need it again. But yeah, not a bad little job. I like to pretty much get all these leaks figured out on these tractors. Makes it a lot nicer. I guess we're gonna have to either go to the store, or you know what, I guess I could move on to the carburetor and get that done. All right, now the next objective to tackle is the carburetor. My dad just ran to get some Permatex, so we're gonna go ahead and get this done. We're not gonna be doing a crazy, don't want it to leak. It ran good, so we're not gonna touch with any of the adjustments. We're just gonna fix the leak, because in my opinion, if it's not broken, then don't fix it. I'm gonna sock it. So we got ourselves a 7/16 socket here. We'll turn the lights on a little bit. And we're gonna go ahead and take the 4 bolts out of the top. And if you guys are wondering, I have done a video on this carburetor before, so we're just gonna quick go through this. I'll put a link in the description of the video of me actually rebuilding this. Now this carburetor I rebuilt, it's the same one, but it was on a W6, so same engine as a Farmall M, same carburetor, just different tractor. This carburetor's on a Farmall M, so we're a little bit different. All right. I'll go ahead and separate this if it doesn't want to. All right, it's not looking like the gasket's wanting to come apart, so let's give it a little help. There we go. Had a little gas run out. We'll take this out. Everything looks pretty good in here, like it was just redone. Just the gasket's the main issue. So I'm gonna get rid of this gas. I'll be right back. All right, so like I said, I'm not even gonna mess with anything here. We're gonna get this all cleaned up and ready for a new gasket. But to do that, I gotta take the float out. So to take the float out, I gotta get a small punch. Let's go ahead now and tap this float rod out. Just like that. I'll set that aside. Here's the needle. And then we got the Venturi here, which should also come out. And that we can get by tapping down on it. There it is, there's the Venturi. So we'll clean that up on the wire wheel. And yeah, pretty self-explanatory right here. I'm gonna wire brush this, wire brush the top. Once I get it cleaned up, we're gonna put it all back together, and I'll blow everything out real quick while I'm here too. There's a little bit of junk down in the seat that I'll get. So I'll be right back after I wire brush this. All right, everybody, so here is our gasket kit right now. It came with a smaller kit as well. I usually keep this stuff in case we run into any other tractors that could use this stuff. So we had a big box of just carburetor parts and stuff like that. So, like I said, we're just gasketing this thing back together. Here's the main gasket, which will be held in by the Venturi, which actually the Venturi might, yeah, okay. So here's the Venturi that I had earlier. We're just gonna go ahead and set this back in. I wire brushed it, cleaned it up. Everything's good. Next up is the gasket. So we're gonna set that on nice and easy. Make sure it lines up with all the holes. Make sure we got a good gasket. Now, here comes the float and the needle. Like I said, I blew all this stuff out. Here's the needle. We'll set that in the seat. And then the float, make sure you set it the correct way. We'll go right in where it was. And then we're gonna have to give it a tappy tap in, just like that. I just like to flip it upside down and make sure that the needle isn't stuck. Just did that, flipped it upside down. Needle's looking good. So now, oh, I see. All right, so I messed up. Venturi's got to go in this way, and the gasket's got to go underneath it for it all to line up. Now it should line up good. Like I said, you gotta kind of play around with it, but just like that. Looks like we're all lined up now. We'll get our 4 bolts started in. Just like that. Perfect. Now we will go. I got the socket stuck on the carburetor, got it off, but we're gonna have to tighten everything back down. All right, now the last bolt I have to do with a wrench. So we'll get that one tightened down, and then we'll double check that everything is tight. And then we should be good to go with this carburetor. Okay. All right, so right now we are currently prepping the water jacket cover here with some Permatex. And here is the gasket. Part number 11053, made in Italy. So, like I said before, we even got this far. We like to use Permatex on this kind of stuff with the pitting, and especially with there being coolant here, this ensures that this won't leak. So, we're gonna go ahead, Permatex this, put the gasket on, and then I'll meet you guys here and we'll slap her on. Top middle, back left with a wrench. This back plate is good to go. We are going to let it sit and cure overnight. Make sure that the Permatex cures. I don't want to put coolant in this thing just yet, so we'll let it cure, and tomorrow we'll be back to see what happens. But we can put the carburetor on, and we're going to put the front nose on too while we're here. All right, so you guys saw me take the carburetor apart. So I am going to do a time lapse here of me putting it back together, and once it's on, I'll hook the gas up, the choke up, the throttle up, and go from there. Once I get the carburetor on, we're going to mess with this front nose cone, so we'll get this on first. Carburetor's back on the tractor. So far we got our water jacket cover done. That has to sit overnight and cure. Carburetor's been re-gasketed. Now remember, I didn't completely rebuild it just because it ran perfectly fine. And then if we come around the back, we did the PTO seal. So we're starting to really wrap this project up. So the next step is to swap out this front nose cone. You can kind of see on the bottom why I'm doing it. That's completely rotted out there. It's been cracked and welded here, and it looks like someone took a ball peen hammer and hit the front of this thing about 50,000 times. So we got a nicer one here. Was thrown in on the deal what we got when we got this tractor. So we're gonna go ahead and put this one on here. And it'll be a lot nicer. So first step to that, we got to get the hood off. First step to that is to get the muffler off. That came off easier than I thought it would. All right. That actually came off a lot easier than I thought it would. All right, so we'll take that, set it aside. We got to pop our little air breather off. Perfect. We'll get this clamp out of the way. Now on these old Farmalls, we got 2 clips on each side. Just pull down. Do that on the other side. And then we're gonna pull this off. Yep. Or just right here. All right. Now that we got that done, we're going to keep our radiator cap off. 1, 2, I think that's a 1/2 inch. All right, we got, oh, it's a 9. All right, now to get the front nose cone off, we got 4 bolts, 2 on each side, one on the bottom, 1 on the top.
Do you need a wrench?
I don't know, we'll see. This one here should just thread into the bottom. We're gonna need something a little bit more powerful than that. All right, so I got the top bolt out right there. We got the air now on the bottom. I wouldn't be surprised if this snaps off. Oh, wow. Perfect. All right, 2 more on this side. That's the first time in a while that we've actually had all of those bolts come out without breaking. All right, so we're gonna put our better one on. I just blew it out. got a perma-blow. Definitely something over here. Oh, I know why. No. You're gonna... There we go. Perfect. Now the bolts. Trying to get everything lined up again. There we go. That one ain't starting. Now it's stuck. All right, they're all lined up again. All right, now the hood can go back on. We're gonna leave the radiator top off because I gotta put coolant back in it tomorrow. We can at least put the hood back on and the exhaust and stuff. All right, everybody, so we're here in the next couple of days. We let the water jacket cover gasket seal up and let it cure. So we're gonna go ahead now and put the coolant back in. I got probably 2 or 3 of these cans to go, so we'll just show you putting it in with just one of these. We'll get this topped off. Where?
I don't know, on the back of the thing it's just running out.
Oh, on this, yeah. A little bit loose. I must have spilled a little bit when I put it in. No big deal. And then we'll check for leaks once we get this thing filled up. Meet you back here when it gets filled up. Okay. All right, everybody. Tractor's filled with coolant. Spilled a little bit right here, but it's no big deal. I just checked the side of the water jacket cover and it looks like we're doing pretty good. I don't see anything leaking. I just cleaned this off with some ether to get rid of some of the staining, so that's probably why you see this here, but that's not anything. I don't see any drips, so that's a good sign, but could change after we get it running. So that's the next thing we're gonna do. Put the hood back on, muffler back on. Let's get this thing started. Let's get this thing outside and take her for a spin. But we do have to adjust the timing as well. So we'll start with the hood.
You gotta go up in the air.
There we go. All right, we'll get it all latched down now.
I don't know if these are on.
All right, perfect. Now, slap this back on. I'm gonna leave the clamp off of this for a little bit, just because all this is coming off so we can steam clean it eventually. All right, let's get it started now. Everything's fixed outside of the timing. We're gonna go ahead and start it, take it outside to do the timing so we don't get all smoked out in here with running this engine. So we'll go ahead and turn the gas on. And also, I didn't show it on video just because I kind of forgot. We refilled the rear end with some good 90 weight, got rid of that stuff that we drained out. So let's go ahead and fire this thing up. I didn't mess with the carburetor, so it should run exactly the way it did before. Uh-oh, battery's dead. Okay, we're gonna give this tractor a quick CPR. He's gotta be on. PTO lever was a little froze up with a little bit of action of my grandpa prying and me pulling. We got it free. It's good. It's got a bit of a power here. There we go. Well, I suppose we better take her for a quick spin now. Test it out. All right. Carburetor's working nice. This is cold to the touch, just how you want it. Not seeing any leaks over here, so that's a good sign. Didn't see anything leaking over on this side. PTO looks good after using it, so that's good. All right, I think we got ourselves a good little Farmall M here. Let's shut it off and probably call it an episode. All right, so this little Farmall M looks a little different coming out of the shop than it came looking in, and most of our tractors end up looking like that. So now this one is in line for the paint booth, but we got a couple other tractors we're getting to right now, and I know it has been about 3 weeks since I've posted a video on YouTube, and sorry about that, guys. I have been just swamped with things to do. I haven't been able to get to the shop. I've been at work working different hours than normal, and I've had a couple other things going on as well. So, but at least we got this one done, and I got a couple other tractors that I might actually get to today as well. So stay tuned for that, and I should have more regular videos now, so should be exciting. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you guys at the next video here at 3 Generations Restoration.